Since independence, with different government has come policies for the youth. Today we'll be speaking with a representative of this strata who has got a lot of feedbacks and who has particularly solutions to most of the problems bedeviling the youth development in Nigeria. We are in the office of the President of National Youth Council of Nigeria, Comrade Solomon Adodo, to actually give us an insight to how to better the lives of the youth and then provide wonderful solutions. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Nigerian Youth House, the head office of the National Youth Council of Nigeria.
To most of the things bedeviling our policies towards youth development. First and foremost, what's your assessment?
Thank you very much. Obviously, when we talk about assessing something, what you want to know is what's the outcome? Beyond the words I'll give you here, what's the outcome? So the outcomes we've seen should judge the assessment of all these things. And I'll tell you that there's been a huge disconnect because the outcomes for now are unsavory. We have youth plagued by issues of high unemployment, stricken by poverty or affected by poverty. We also have a great number of youth who have become easy prey to those who want to recruit enemies against the Nigerian state. They've been recruited as bandits, they've been recruited as terrorists, Boko Haram. They've been recruited into all sorts of vices. And then those who are disenchanted against the Nigerian nation easily find youth to recruit. It tells you that the policies of government, the programs of government, the projects of government, as much as they mean well for the Nigerian youth, there has been a huge disconnect. And for us at the National Youth Council of Nigeria, this is what we are working at seriously and arduously to ensure that we address and that we also correct. Particularly, you see, there is a tendency that people want you to easily criticize the government, call the government all sorts of negative names. We criticize government when the need arises and where we see discrepancies. However, where the government deserves commendation, we also commend. And for this particular government, the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, we have seen a lot of prioritization of youth interests, moving on from policies, laws in terms of youth inclusion in governance. We had a law that lowered the bar, the age limit for those who should contest for elective offices. And today, a 35-year-old can contest for the seat of president. To the seat of House of Reps, the age is also lowered, and so on and so forth. That is one. It has never been done before in the history of Nigeria. We also have diverse youth policies that have been brought on stream to help integrate youth into national development. And more significantly, a masterstroke was when the president approved the 75 billion naira youth investment funds to spur productivity, drive youth enterprise, and also fast-track economic growth. But in all of this, we have seen the president has good intentions towards the Nigerian youth. So leaving the top, that level, coming down, how has it gotten to the youth? Has it gotten to the end point? And what is the feedback? Is there productivity? The Not Too Young to Run bill has been passed as an act of parliament today. Now, how much of the youth within this age limit are occupying political offices? So that's what we want to see. It's not just what has been done, but what is the feedback? And I can tell you very clearly, like like the president knows, or maybe he may not know so much because at that level there is so much work. But like the average Nigerian knows, the feedbacks are not very positive. And we keep crying so that the president is also aware to hold those accountable who should be held accountable, particularly for issues that have to do with spurring productivity and lowering unemployment figures amongst the youth. I can tell you the president is passionate about that, but I can tell you also that some people who are supposed to be doing their duties are not doing it. But unfortunately, when we tend to want to criticize, we don't look at those people. Every finger will point at Mr. President. So we need to wake up.
As a representative of the youth, as an influencer of the youth, different quarters, do you think the system and the politicians are marginalizing the youth in Nigeria?
When you talk about marginalization or somebody being marginalized, the person being marginalized has to play an active role also. And then there are indices or aspects or parameters to measure these marginalizations. What perspectives? Is it economic marginalization? Is it political marginalization? Is it social marginalization? What marginalization? But then when you want to narrow it down, because when we talk, most times we talk about politics and economics. On the economic plinth, I can tell you that there are almost equal opportunities. If a young man manages his business well and you approach the banks, they will stand for you. If a young man manages his business well and he approaches financial institutions, they will stand for you. And like I also stated, there have been specific cut out economic inroads made for the youth through NISAL, the Nigerian Risk Agricultural Lending Scheme, NISAL under the CBN, the Bank of Industry is there, the Bank of Agriculture is there, Cmrde is there, and all of this to help assuage the economic marginalization of the youth. But again, like I told you, the figures of unemployment have not significantly come down. That tells you that there is still a great degree of deprivation. That's what I'll call it, deprivation and not marginalization. Perhaps somebody somewhere that should do his duty is not doing it properly. So for us at the National Youth Council of Nigeria, we should begin to probe and begin to check where is the blockage and how can we remove those factors impeding development. That's for marginalization on the economic plinth or front. You go down to politics. We always want to say, oh, the youth have been left behind. But who carries those to the front that go to the front? Who carried Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Jagaban of Lagos, to the front? Who carried President Muhammadu Buhari to the front? Who carried those whom we celebrate and bow and grovel before today to the front? Most of them started in their youthful age, and then they trudged on. Most of them were also confronted with challenges. They didn't fall from the sky as old elders or as elders and then began to occupy these offices. President Muhammadu Buhari distinguished himself in the military, and he served and he is president today. A lot of them, so many of them, they served before and they are still serving. If we do not prepare ourselves sufficiently, I will tell you for free that we will not get the opportunity to serve. Like I've always maintained, power is not given, it is taken. And of course, it's like an axiom today, a truism, a maxim that everybody knows. You must work for power. If you want power, you don't sit down and say, because I'm young. If you are young, what do you have to offer? So I would not want to pitch my tent on the part of excusing the youth and saying we have been marginalized. For us at the National Youth Council of Nigeria, what we are trying to do now is to prepare youth for power. Yes, if we are prepared for power, we will surely take power. So we want to prepare youth, and then the right caliber of youth, the youth that know that the essence of political power is for patriotism, is to drive development. And if you want to drive development, we must begin from now. So we are not just going to take power because we want to be president of the country for the sake of the name, or a senator, or a governor. What difference are we bringing? If we are coming on board as young people, what is our cutting edge? Are we going to maintain the old order where the Commonwealth is plundered for the sake of self and at the detriment of the collective? These are salient questions we must ask ourselves. But I will tell you very clearly, irrespective of the obstacles and impediments, because they are sure there, for young people, 2023 is by the corner. Elections just about a few months away. From now, we'll be going in for presidential elections, for governorship elections. These are hurdles that the youth must overcome. One of such is the issue of finances and politics. That's a major hurdle, you see. But if I can work my way transparently and sincerely and raise the money that is required, I won't wake up and say somebody somewhere is marginalizing me. maybe Kwankwaso is marginalizing me. If Kwankwaso can print billboards across the whole 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu can print billboards across the 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if Alhaji Atiku Abubakar can print billboards across the 36 states of Nigeria, I should also be able to print my own billboards. But if I cannot print billboards, I should devise strategies that will outwit what they are doing. You know, so you must be ready to match the old order with what they are bringing to the table. If they are bringing funds in billions and you cannot bring funds in billions, then what can you bring? If you cannot single-handedly raise 1 billion naira and you want to contest for president, can you put it to the youth? Show them sufficiently that yes, it is in their interest to stand for you. And then if you need money, let's say 1 billion to print billboards, to do adverts or something, the youth should be able to raise that 1 billion for you. If you have 100,000 youth or 1 million youth putting 1,000 naira together, you have 1 billion already. So there must be strategies to find your way to the top, to the seat of power. And like I stated, the major impediment, which is the legislation that allowed for young people to contest, has been overcome. So any form of marginalization, we will say, is self-imposed. Today, we have a young party youth leader, a truly young guy, 25 years, Prince Kadidi. You know, he is the party leader of the PDP. We are hoping that the APC will do so. We're also hoping that other opportunities will be given to you to occupy key positions in other political parties. There are political parties that are driven by youths. The Young Progressives Party is headed by a very young man. I think he should be about 36 or 37. Young Progressives Party. And so many other parties are there. So if you want to talk about marginalization, then it is like we are trying to throw a pity party. And when you are angling for power, pity does not come into the question. Preparation is what matters.
So, with so much insight.